Welcome back to the Bearded Hermit. This week has been very productive. I finished installing all the floor joists. I cut off all the posts to the height of the floor. And I put 2x8s on the ends of the joist. With this floor, I'm adding an extra 2x6 every 4 feet. Every post that's in the ground gets a joist on each side, only 5.5 inches apart. Adding this is not necessary, but I think it would help to keep the post from twisting in the ground. This also means that the rest of the floor joists are closer than normal, about 13 inches apart on average. I use my straight edge to line up the ends of the 2x6s. This will make it much easier later to attach the 2x8s to the end. I use 3.5 inch long plated construction screws to connect everything. These screws have a star drive and are easy to drive in than just about any other screw I've ever used. On the other side, some of these floor joists are about 1/2 inch too long. So I use my power station and circular saw to cut them to the correct length, and then screwing them down. Even though these 20-foot floor joists are about all I want to lift and work with, it is important that they're all in one piece. I could have put the floor joist in 2 10-foot pieces supported by the center beam. But once the subfloor is built and the A-frame roof goes up, there will be lots of stress on the posts to want to spread out. Having 2 joists on each post running the full length of the floor, post to post, should be good enough to keep the weight of the A-frame from pushing the posts over. I'm working here with 4 2x6s at a time, bringing them over, measuring them out, and screwing them into position. Some of these joists are not too straight, and I need to stand on them to get them down on the beam to screw in. This week has been much cooler in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. Most of the days have been in the 50s, but I like it this way. Working in hot summer weather is the worst. Give me snow any day. Here, I've skipped 1 floor joist to allow access to the root cellar/storm shelter. I'm cutting some 2x6s to box in the opening. This access in the floor will be in the kitchen. On the opposite side of the house, in the bathroom, I'm making another small hole in the floor to access the crawl space from inside the house. After boxing out this opening, I run a floor joist between the 2, and this should be enough to support the plywood for the subfloor. Next thing to do is to cut off all the posts even with the top of the floor joist. This will allow the plywood to lay right over the top of everything. Believe it or not, but the best tool I have for this is the chainsaw. It does a pretty good job, but I need to be careful not to cut too deep. With all the posts cut off, I move on to making the notches in the 6 end posts. I'm cutting these notches so each end of the joist sits onto the post and not stick out past the post. And again, the chainsaw is the best tool I have for this. And I need to improve my chainsaw skills. Soon, I'll be cutting the posts to make the A-frame trusses, and I don't want to make any mistakes. With all 3 of these posts notched out, it's time to screw this joist in. After I get a new battery, of course. With that done, I move on to the other side and repeat the same steps. With all the joists installed, I move on to adding the 2x8s to the end to cap everything off and to help keep the joist from twisting. And again, clamps are your best friend. This build would have been impossible for me to do by myself if I didn't have clamps. I'm not sure if you can tell what all that noise is in the background, but a bunch of ATVs keep going past down the road. A little ways further down is a hunting camp, and there's at least 15 guys over there hunting. I'll do my best to not look like a deer and become somebody's trophy. On to the other side, and repeating the same steps. I had looked online at different ways to build a strong foundation and subfloor. And this way I really liked. It is simple but strong. I could have put posts in the ground every 8 feet, but I doubled them up and put them every 4 feet. This way, when I build the A-frame on top of this, each 6x6 truss will land directly on top of a post, transferring the weight directly to the ground, not into a horizontal beam. I think this is a much stronger way to build, but a little more costly, and much more work. This 2x8 has a bow in it, so I screw the ends of the board down and use clamps in the middle to straighten it out. Always look down your building materials to see how straight they are. You might be surprised. I was pretty lucky with all this material that was delivered. Only a few had a little bow in them. Well, the light is fading fast tonight. Soon I won't be able to see, but I make it just in time to finish the last board and bring my tools inside. This is the end of the video. Please stay safe out there. And remember, life can be good sometimes.